Hello friends, good morning. My name is Akash Khobragade. I am a PhD scholar at Delhi University and coordinator at Karunyakara Institute of Dalit Knowledge. Karunyakara Institute of Dalit Knowledge is founded by Professor Dr. Leela Karunyakara sir, and his idea behind this institution to provide an academic space to professors, doctors and social scientists in the field of Dalit studies. Today, we are going to have our 89th of lecture. This lecture is a part of a series which we started on 14th of April 2025 on the occasion of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Jayanti. Professor Dr. Leela Karunyakara sir going to chair today's session, and I'm going to take a pleasure to introduce him and welcome. Professor Dr. Leela Karunyakara sir is a former Vice Chancellor and founder of Karunyakara Institute of Dalit Knowledge. He is author of History of Dalit Identity and Modernization of Buddhism. After completing his PhD from JNU, New Delhi, Dr. Professor Karunyakara sir joined as assistant professor in the School of Ambedkar Studies, Babasaheb Bhimrao Ambedkar University, Central University, Lucknow. He introduced the Dalit History course in MA History program. He was instrumental in the introducing 50% reservation for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes student in BBAU. He founded Ambedkar University Dalit Student Union in 2000 and Babasaheb Bhimrao Ambedkar Central University SC/ST Teachers Association in 2006. He joined as director cum professor in the Babasaheb Ambedkar Murmur Center for Dalit and Tribal Studies at Mahatma Gandhi Antarashtriya Vishwavidyalaya. He held post of Dean of School and of School of and former Vice Chancellor of that university. I welcome Professor Dr. Leela Karunyakara sir for chairing today's session. Now I request Ms. Suhas Kamlakar to please welcome and introduce our today's guest. Ms. Suhas Kamlakar.
Yes, good morning everyone. My name is Suhas Kamlakar. So I will take a pleasure to introduce today's guest. Tenepalli Hari is currently a professor in Department of Political Science at Assam University, Silchar. He has served as a fellow of both ICS and
what to say that collecting the data and investing in ideas. What is their investing in ideas? As a part of investing in ideas, they want to study the test that is there, that rules the lives of the people of this part of the world. Now, what British did to do that, first they had established we can see that a research centers in Calcutta. Then again, they had invited that, scholars who are proficient in a Persian language, scholars proficient in Arabic and Persian, this Urdu language. Then most important is also given to the Brahmin scholars who are having a command over the Sanskrit. Now, with the help of what you say that help of all these scholars, now they want to first they want to know the knowledge about this part of the world. Later on, by having with that knowledge, with the help of that scholars, they want to run their court here in India. First, they thought of using these pandits sitting along with the judges, magistrates in the court to deal the disputes of Indians. But at the same time, later they found that instead of that, they want to introduce the laws to this land. Now, that is there it comes that how to deal these subjects. Now, that is a blunder. What happened? They categorize Indian people according to the religious faith of the people. Then they they have found that all Christians are one group, all Muslims are one group, all non-Muslims, non-Christians as a whole as a one group. That is, they claimed as they put as all of them is in what to say that as Hindu tag. Now onwards, what happened when we had been banded as Hindus? That was a great assault on the what we say that the cultural heritage of the all 98% of the Indian population by the time. But more than 90% of Indian population who are the non-Brahmin by the time, they have no smell of knowledge because That is what we can see that during the Mughal time, even Mughals are Muslims, but they didn't allow their own Muslim brothers also get educated. That is the grip of the Brahminism and Mughal period also. There is so much of research is there, but unfortunately, since our universities are not allowing that to know the history of the other side, we don't know about that. But still, there are a good number of very sweet scholars across the world who done a very good study on that. Even during the Mughal period, that they didn't allow that non-Brahmins to have a education, access to the education, access to the knowledge. It is strictly prohibited. Even they made a people to convert to the Muslim, that at religious place we are all equal partially, but in education that inequality is a remained but intake was preserved as a result of the Brahmin supremacy was continued during the Mughal period also. Now, when the British are entered through the East India Company, here the first Governor General of India, Warren Hastings, in 1772 onwards, if at all we see what is his interest, what he done to the India, what he done to the interest of the Dalit, what assault that he did to the Dalits, that is a very important topic. We never looked it. While I read the text of the Muktabai Salve, the again Rukmabai, because Muktabai Salve didn't challenge these personal rights and personal things. But later, she expressed the agony that the Dalit woman or Dalits are going through in this country because of that Brahmin rule. Because Muktabai Salve got that strength because she's by the time only 15, 14 years old girl, and who entered into the school and studied in the school of the third school that Mahatma Jyotirao Phule is opened in Pune. And this 14 years girl, she wrote an essay. That essay has been printed later. In that essay, that the problems that the Dalit woman, around the Dalit woman are facing is the first time entered into the test. As of now, there is none of the Dalit women are not got educated, and none of the Dalit women not even put their knowledge onto the paper. Now here is a first Dalit woman who put our pain, our suffering, the problems around our life on a paper. Here we know that who are these people who are a primary sources for the problem that are around the Dalit woman is been very crystal clearly as a placed by the Muktabai Salve. Now here again Muktabai Salve, one point we have to say, there is a one crystal clear line she proclaimed. If Vedas are belong to the Brahmins, that Vedas have nothing to do with the Dalit. But here, the Warren Hastings, as a part of the personal laws, he was banning all non-Brahmins as a part of the Hindus. Now he brings that Vedas, which they Muktabai self say that these Vedas are belong to Brahmins. We have nothing to do with this Veda, and he sees a prayer to the God. Show the path, and this is not our text. This has nothing to do with us. Now here, our opposition to the Brahmin writing started from here. Our opposition to the Brahmin writing in sense, our opposition to even it is introduced by the Britishers, but at the same time, it is the brainchild of the Brahmins. The personal laws, the ideas which coming through the personal law, these ideas are written in a Brahmin text. Now, while we move to the another interesting thing is that, and we have a Rukma, that is a Rukma by Rawat. Even though she is not a Dalit, but at the same time, she comes from the carpenter community. But at the same time, very interesting case of the history that everybody we have to read about that Rukma by, because she was telling, because while we apply the personal laws, and as for the Hindu personal laws, that is called as a British personal law today, and in that personal law, that there is no chance of the remarriages. There is no chance for getting the divorce, because as per the Brahminical writings, as per the Brahminical custom, as per the Brahminical practices, the marriage is for the Sato Janma. There is once you are married, you are married for the Sato Janma, there is no divorce. Here, the Mukmabai always say that, and I am not a, see that my mother, and when I was in age 2, my father has died. Then my mother has married to the doctor. My mother has married to the doctor. And again, after my mother, my father passed away, my mother got a chance to divorce. That means in my community, we have a right to take a divorce. At the same time, here we see that when Rukmabai say that, and when I was 11 years, I got married. Now I don't want to go to my husband's place. As per the law, that when her husband calls her to his house, that a wife should go to his house. Here, Rukmabai refused to go to her in-laws' house, stating that I don't want to honor this marriage. This marriage is a child marriage. I want to pursue the education. Now, it is a very interesting thing because the man who acted as a lawyer again, against our case, it is none other than a great freedom fighter, Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and if at all we study our case, every word that Bal Gangadhar Tilak spoke in the court, every word he spoke in the public meetings around about this case, that is very crystal clear, illustrate that the perception of the Brahmins towards the woman, towards the non-Brahmins. He was stating that the women who are born here, they have only one biological right, only biological thing that they should get married, they should produce the kids. There is no need of a woman should get educated. It is the colonialist, as a part of the destroying the Hinduism, unity of the Hinduism, they are introducing the education here. That is very anti to our nation. If women get an education, then we will lose our nationality also, because the very fundamental of our nation is that strong and strength of our family. If women get educated, then our family is going to collapse. With that, our nation also going to collapse. It is a great conspiracy that Britishers are doing with us. Even if at all British are still determined to introduce the education, Western education in this country, they should give that Western education to only Brahmins, not to Dalit, not to women. If at all women have to be given education, they should be given education in vernacular language. They should be given an education about the only two subjects, that is housekeeping and some another a small thing that can help them to make themselves be comfortable at home. Now here Rukmabai challenges all this what the Brahmin hold over the non-Brahmins, and stating that we want to learn, because our stepfather himself is a doctor. She read the books that our stepmother is read while he was pursuing his doctorate. And again, she went to the British people and to ask them to get her to admission in abroad to study for the medicine. Now here the Rukmabai struggle, and first she have to get a divorce. Now here that the court already, Bombay High Court have given judgment stating that as for the law, as for the Hindu personal law, that a woman has no freedom to say no or yes to anything. She should follow the law. Woman cannot have a different opinion because the law won't allow that. Then she went to the first woman. She tried writing about her pain to the media. She wrote an article during that time in the Times of India. Then she also wrote a letter to the British Queen. Finally, when the entire media and the world society was looking about our case, everyday development our case, then the entire public opinion has built in such a manner that Brahmins are looked at that it is going to be great danger for their, to their perception to continue to prevail in this country. That's why let's bend today. Then what happened? Bal Gangadhar Tilak, made a compromise between on this case. Then finally, Dadaji, who is a husband of Rukmabai, withdrawn his case. Through that, Rukmabai is considered to be the first non-Brahmin woman by fighting law, got a divorce. That is a big slap on Brahminism, and stating that non-Brahmins, we are different and we don't prescribe to the laws of the Brahmins. That is what the Rukmabai did. And she stated that she is not only, a personal fight, she also set an example for the all non-Brahmin women to the next that until unless there is no fight, there is no win. Then Rukmabai became the first practicing doctor. She went to London, she studied there and come back, and she served as a dean to and again entire her life she devoted to her profession. She never married. Now the Rukmabai again says about the same truth what the other text also speaks about, that we are different. Our problems are different. Our culture are different. Our pain is different. For all our problem, for all our culture, somebody cannot see our face. Somebody cannot digest us. And he set the rules for us. And he claimed that he is a natural guardian for us. That is the point that Rukmabai and challenged this Brahmins' hegemony and their law during that time. While we come back to the next, we can see that the same thing about we have another dimensions of these laws. While we read Bama, a Dalit writer from Tamil Nadu, our work that is a Karuku. Here also another dimension about that this autobiographical work of Obama. It also illustrates that what happening in the lives of the Dalit people who are converted to the Christians, and what is the condition of the Dalit woman, and after they became Christians, and what are the things that this personal law came to their life. How that personal law also is not even a Christian personal law, also not respecting our cultural heritage. And here that Bama writing also states that the same thing, that at one point of time, before we became Christians, before we became a part of the Christian personal law, that our woman has a very freedom to remarriage. That marriage and remarriage is a very simple matter. Within our village, that elders will sit, we will discuss among us, and the marriage is not a very big matter in our life. After we became Christians, now the Christian laws say that we cannot remarry. We cannot remarry. Now marriage became a big affair, and again marriage became something that tradition that is very new to us has been introduced in the name of the Christian law. And here Bama also exposes that how these rules are alien to our cultural heritage of Dalits. Then another aspect, Bama also states that how the Brahminical forces, even they are Christians, but they are upper caste people who are controlling the church, who are controlling the all Christian missionary activities in India. She herself worked as a nun around 7 years in different part of the India, and through her personal experience, through her reading about the Christian activities during entire 7 years, she comes and tells us that how Brahminical people who are controlling the church, who are formulating the everyday activities of the church activities, how they're Brahminical, how they're using the church also against the Dalit people. She very clearly stated by telling about that intercaste marriage, how that as for the Christianity, there is no caste. As for the Christianity, there is no provision that one caste can marry another caste. But in India, the Christian people, under the mask of the church, under the mask of the Christianity, the fathers of the church, they never agree to have a intercaste marriage under the church. Now, Bama very clearly stated that it is how that we are looking Brahmanism as of now as a opponent, as a not recognizing and uprooting our cultural rights, but at the same time Christianity also doing the same thing, and Christianity also not respecting our cultural ethos by not allowing the intercaste marriages and not allowing the remarriages, and all their things are also exposed that how Brahminical forces are controlling the churches, how Brahminical forces also controlling the Christianity also see very much exposes. And we can learn a lot of things from the Obama writings, and it is not only one individual suffering. She also states that our entire community, how under the new religion, are not liberated, but how they have been suffocated. She also very well explains. Then we'll come to then Sivagami. Sivagami also talks about the male characters in a Sivagami book, that is the Gift of the Change. In that book also, she very, also portrays about the male attitude towards the woman. How male are interested about having polygamy, and even that is within the Dalit communities also, and men how they are not happy with one marriages, are venturing for another woman, how that is a problematic, how that is ruining their community. At the same time, she also interpret the everyday reality of the Dalit society in a different perception. She also talks about that, how this the Brahminical rules are being over a period of time are forcing the Dalits to become a very to live in helpless conditions in many ways. Then it comes to another test of that is a baby Kamli also. Baby Kamli, that the prison we broke, and also talks about that how the caste system prevail within the villages, how the men in the house treat the woman, and here also we can see that how the Brahminical rules also makes the Brahmin woman not to live like a human, not to treat another woman as a woman. That very clearly stated. Now my point while I was referring all here is that Brahmins hold and Brahmin control of the Dalits has been more intensified in many ways while we entering the laws. Through the personal laws, what happened that Brahmin rules are being imposed on the 90% of the Indian population by the Britishers. This is a great injustice, a great assault that happened, and it is not ended with the Britishers. Still, those personal laws which the Britishers are introduced and are still a part of our life today. Now here, while we see that to the Brahmins, one side Mughals are cooperating, on other side the British are cooperating. Through that they build so much of grit in our grip and over our lives. At the same time, when the victim side, when we are the victim side from the Dalit community, while we want to see that try to set right this injustice that is happening to the Dalit woman and across all the women, and our voice is not been heard. Now, while we look that, while Baba Sahib Ambedkar has given the responsibility to draft in the Hindu Code Bill, and then, failing of that Hindu Code Bill, attaining the approval of the Parliament. And this is as a political science teacher, and while we read of Indian history, that as of now in our history, no bill has been debated 4 years. Now we can see that the uniqueness of that thing, that the Hindu Code Bill was debated around 4 years. Now 4 years that bill was debated and debated. Now we can see that the Brahmins from across the country, they are united. And we can see that there was a lot of very, the hatred towards Baba Sahib Ambedkar, that we can see that there are very beautiful cartoons have been there, and especially the newspaper Herald, National Herald had from 1936 to the 1945. If at all we see, there are numerous occasions that the position of Ambedkar, the people's perception over Ambedkar has very much illustrated, very nicely illustrated in the cartoons in this newspaper. Now some of the cartoons, I don't want to go to the details about that one, dates also. In one cartoon, it says that Ambedkar like Hitler and walking with a beautiful girl, with a small girl. Now here they're portraying Ambedkar as a Hitler, and he is like a Hitler is walking with his girlfriend. The same thing here also they were telling that how Ambedkar is a dangerous to Hindu community, and Ambedkar is what to say that they say that Ambedkar are throwing the atom bomb on the Hindus by introducing a Hindu code bill, and here that Ambedkar is throwing a atom bomb on Hindus because one side by giving a property right to the woman, and other side of the giving a the freedom to the woman to marry, and freedom to the woman to have a heredity of the property, freedom to marry, to again remarriages. These are all what we say that unacceptable, because as for our test, as of now, nobody challenged it in India, because that around 7 centuries of the Mughal rule, and again 250 years of British rule, nobody challenged a Hindu laws. But here, one man, Ambedkar, and he is what we say that he is throwing atom bomb by introducing the Hindu code bill. Now, my point is that in the name of the personal code, in the name of the law, Britishes are introduced, and they ruined our culture, and they uprooted us in many ways. But at the same time, as a scholarly, as a concerned person of our country, and well-read person of our country, who had seen that woman suffering as a suffering is not from the, what we say that angle of Brahmin, not Brahmin angle. He had seen pain as a pain, because he is a very committed student of his teacher, Professor John Dewey. Now, Professor John Dewey's idea is that if you want to build a good society, you need to act like a good filter. That means like every individual should be like a dead wood. What is the dead wood? A dead wood is that when the wood dies, the essence of the wood will be preserved on the wood. Now, that wood will be again useful for the, even if it dies, but the essence of the wood is remaining there in the wood. It is useful for the future generation. Like that, every individual who are responsible to this society, how to filter out from the history, from our past, what is a good thing from our history, we should pass on to the future generation. Through that, you will become a good person to the society. That's the same job what Dr. B.R. Ambedkar also tried through the Hindu Code Bill. He was not against it. He had only tried to see that some components which are not good for the future generation, for overall development of this country, and he want that something should be filtered out. Then what he need to filter out? That inequality. Here, by the time of Hindu Code Bill, Muslim bill already agrees that women can be diverse. But here at the same time, and what we say that Hindu Code Bill don't accept the diverse. Then another thing that what Hindu Code Bill essentially component is that intercaste marriage. Caste should not be inherent in marriages. Caste should not be considered as a criteria in the marriages. Now we can see that after the, even after 1951, September 24, Baba Sahib is resigned when the bill didn't got the approval from the parliament, because he spoke against that. He spoke against the existing tendency that how the people are pursuing, how people are on the name of the patriotism, how they're huddled for creating the good society. Baba Sahib very clearly stated that equality is very important. Without equality, society cannot move further. But the people who are considered to be the traditionalists, who are considered to be the Rashtra builders, who are refused to accept the equality. Here, Baba Sahib is not telling about anti-Hindu and anti-Brahminical. That words are not there. He accepts each and everything. He only says that when man has a right to seek a divorce, let woman also should have a right to seek a divorce. When woman is also equally contributing to the family wealth, when woman is equally contributing for the happiness of the family, that the assets of that family also belong to her. Like a male who can inherit the property, woman also should have equally a chance and right to also to inherit it. She should not be looked as a woman only, because woman means Adadi means they are not belong to here. But for whom they're contributing this family. This family itself had to give a right to her. That is what Baba Sahib positions. Even after Baba Sahib's leaving the cabinet, after then we have a first elected government of India comes under leadership of the Nehru. Even they passed that Hindu Code bill into the 4 bills. But what they essentially did is that the essential point what these people they didn't honor. What is that essential point is that the caste should not be part of the marriages. That point Nehru, even he spoke lengthy about in favor of the woman. He himself became a champion of the woman cause also in theory. When it comes to the practice, and he also refused to to accept that caste should not be. Caste should be removed from the marital relation of the people, that he also didn't agree. My point is that here, Baba Sahib Ambedkar, by the time of 1923, and the only man in Asian continent has 3 doctorates. There was nobody across the Asian continent. Now, this Baba Sahib Ambedkar studied under the great teacher Professor Don Dewey 3 years, and again one of the great contributors for the scientific methodology. Now here the Brahminical forces, what we see that they don't want to agree the knowledge to build a good society, a society where everybody is equal. A society where everybody should have equal chances for enjoy their life. Now, what Baba Sahib learned, Baba Sahib want to contribute that idea to the introduce to our society, but the opponents who refuse to believe that is the good for the society. Our point is here, as a Dalit woman, we can see today that they're struggling, they're speaking on all. But at the same time, we can see that Brahmin women, even they are well educated, even Brahmin women who are very considered to be having a tag of the liberal Democrats and again a leftist, but never talking about the personal laws, how the personal laws are ignoring the basic rights of the larger humanity of this part and refusing to acknowledge the cultural heritage of the larger humanity of this country. That is a very painful thing, because the leftists and the scholars are culturally blind. They don't want to speak the truth as a truth, and they speak conveniently, but at the same time, the core ideology that denies the basic human rights, the basic cultural rights of the majority of the people of this continent have been ignored. Now, while we compare with the Hindu code and while we compare the Hindu laws, at least Muslim law in India from the time to time are allowed to change. Now in India, the Muslims, even across the country, there is only one law, but across the country that all Muslims are not the same. But at the same time, and this Muslim personal law in India also taken some inputs from different part of the country. While it comes to the Hindu, law, Hindu personal law, only 11 Brahmins. Now, these 11 Brahmins also very interesting find that when the Brahmins from the Maharashtra, Brahmins from the Peshwa rule, they also developed a personal laws, and these are been followed by the Bombay Presidency by the British government. But over a period of time, they found out that the 11 Brahmin Pandits from the Calcutta's laws are more perfect than the Brahmin Pandits from the Maharashtra. Then we see that 11 Pandits from the Calcutta Presidency, and their ideas became turned into the law. That law became a law for the entire this continent, for the more than 90% of the Indian population. And we are being as we see that British are hand over our life to the Brahmins in many ways. That is what happened in the name of the personal laws, that British done so much injustice to the Dalits in these manners. That is what I see, that while I was teaching my students, MA students, I do see that the pain of the Dalit woman, non-Brahmin woman, how there been their basic right of marriage, their basic right of property heritization, their basic right of the remarriages, this basic right of the freedom in many ways has been denied because of the British are accepting the Brahmin ideals as a personal laws. That is what I believe, and this is what to say that that is what my ideas about the Dalit woman reaction to the what to say that British law, that is the law of the Brahmins. Now our point is that Baba Sahib, while he burning the Manusmriti, the basic point what Baba Sahib say that why I'm burning, because this text is not written based on a reason and rationality. There was no reason and rationality behind the argument of this test. That's why I'm burning it. That is again he said that to liberate this country, we need to put a dynamics to the Vedas and Upanishad. That is what we can see that in Muktabai Salve also. That is what we can see Rukmabai Rawat also. That is what we can see in a baby Kamli test also. That is what we can see in Sivagami also. First of all, our pain, our sorrow, all our pain started because of the British are accepting the Brahmin knowledge as a knowledge to better govern this country. Through that, they can make a profit without any problem, and that is what great harm the British colonial master done to us. That is what I would like to say here. If you have anything to ask me, you can ask me. Through that, I can tell you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It is a very important and very enriching lecture for all of us. But before going to question answer sessions, I request Professor Dr. Leela Karunyakara sir to please give chair remarks. You are on mute, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Professor Hari. It's a very pleasure to have you here. And I hope that all my scholars and faculty might have benefited it. There are many doctorates, students, as well as academics, junior academics, assistant professors also there in the gathering. I am very happy that you have given very authentic, very thorough, well-researched lecture. Thank you once again, Professor Hari. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Professor Karunyakara sir. Now this session is open for question answers. As the hand is raised by Apun. Apun, please go ahead. Oh, he lowered his hand. So Amit Kumar, please go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you so much, sir. Wonderful and very knowledgeable lecture. This lectures, I ask three questions. My first question is discuss the intersection of caste and gender in the context of the personal law with a special reference to Dalit women. And my second question, critical examine Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, view the personal law and their relevance of empowerment of Dalit women. And my third question is explain how personal law affect the social, economic and legal status of the Dalit women in Indian context. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ji. My point is that for last point what you made, how that is hampering us. Now it is hampering in many ways because denial of my culture, denial of my historical cultural roots itself, that you are taking away my life. And we have our own culture. We have our own ethos to deal. We are also living in this part of the world. This is our place. This is our civilization, Harappa civilization. No way, that is a what to say that no way inferior. No way that that itself shows that how great we are, how we are great builders of the society, and that itself it is our culture. Now here the British, the East India Company, which I told you, that a corporate who are interested of the business, who are interested of the profit making, how this corporate, what to say that corporates as a part of the minting the profit, At the same time, Brahmins also with the same motto, both are in the same, both are invested their time, their energy, and getting our ideas, and again using our ideas against our own people. Now, Brahmins also, what they did, they also observed us. They also taken inputs from our life and again used that for their own benefit. That the same thing, they had given their knowledge, the Brahmins, the knowledge how to control this society to the Britishers through that. Because of this personal laws, one side of Brahmins rule, another side of British rule. Continuity of the Brahmin rule, at the same time strengthening the British rule simultaneously has started. We had seen that 11 Brahmins became the lawmakers, 11 Brahmins' ideas became a law for this vast subcontinent. And again, British it is not one Britishers. After Warren Hastings, then comes Johns. Then he also accepted that, that Sanskrit is a great source of the laws. But unfortunately, that in a Sanskrit, there was no distinction between a state and society. And for them, everything is a dharma. For everything they're doing for the dharma. But here, and the British, these people who want to see that since these laws perfectly used by the colonial Mughal around the 7th centuries, and they mint a lot of profit from by using these Brahmin laws. That's why they also trusted that your laws are very perfect to apply these countries. That's why they also aligned with the Britishers. Through that, they also can be part or parcel of the looting and cheating the larger part of these societies. That is what I see, that because of the personal laws, that white man and brown man together and made a Dalits to be remain as a Dalit. And here, and British are listen to the Brahmins, they refuse to listen to us, until unless Baba Sahib entered, until unless Baba Sahib put a strong resistance to the British rule, until that there was nobody who was ready to listen to the Dalit voice at all. I'm not telling their opponents for us, and in many ways they may be good for this part of the world, but at the same time, when it comes to the Dalit, and they're aligned with the Brahmins, that is made pushed us into the more horrible situation, and that not happen to any others. Maybe they helped us because of the Christianity, somewhere opened their doors to have an education, has at least not in English education, at least a vernacular education. And but at the same time, the same Christian people also opened the English education to the Brahmins because they thought that if a Brahmin get an English education, all Brahmins become a convert into Christianity, then we don't need to worry. Entire country will become a Christian. If Brahmins become a Christian, then the entire country will become a Christian. That's why first they want to introduce the English education to the Brahmin. Through that, they thought that the entire country become a Brahmins. Because that is what I'm telling you, the lacuna of understanding of the Britishers toward the Brahmins. Brahmins, they take all the benefits of the Britishers, then again they are the first people again start benefit from the Mughals. They are the first people again started talking against the Mughal people. Again they are the first people we are the great champions who fought against the Brahmin. My point is that here, and whoever looking Brahmins as a great health damage to our country, to culture, to this part of the world. That's why and arming our our interest happened so much because of the British rule with the control of the Brahmins and Brahmin male.
Thank you, sir. Any other question? Those who want to ask a question, please go ahead.
Yes, I have hello.
Yeah, please, Apun. Please, sir, go ahead.
Actually, good afternoon. Actually, it is not a question. Just I wanted to know from our respected sir. Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Sir, actually, just I want to learn from you. Mostly we have seen in parliament, in our Indian parliament, sir, or in our India, ruling parties MPs are mostly supported the bill. You have whatever you have mentioned that Hindu Code Bill, I have seen, sir, this from the Congress party also, the MPs are opposing this bill, sir. For why, sir, this, I just want to know.
No, that is what a Brahmin, whatever the name, whatever the party label that is under, but they remain a Brahmin. What is a Brahmin? That is Hindu. What is the Hindu? Without a caste system, there is no Hinduism. What is the caste system? Caste system in sense say that inequality, social inequality, believe that we are a superior. Now, Brahmins who want to use all the political ideology, Brahmins want to use all the political umbrellas to remain and preserve their privileges. And here, and if at all we read very seriously, and even I prepared a PPT also, Nehru and gave a call to the woman that by praying your enemy, no enemy will liberate you. You have to fight. Oppression cannot go away by praying your enemy. But the same Nehru, and he didn't at all push, he didn't speak one word in favor to the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar while he was forced to resign. And here you see that even he spoke all, then after he became a prime minister, elected prime minister, he introduced a poor bill. But the essence of what Ambedkar Hindu Code Bill has been defeated. The essence of the Ambedkar bill is that caste should not be part of the in marriage system. And Nehru, and very cleverly, and he didn't address that issue at all. But Nehru accepted that one, that a woman should have a property right after her father or husband dies. Then a woman also have a right to adopt the kids. Then previously, as per the Hindu law, that nobody should adopt the girl. That is the one great point what Baba Sahib says, that a girl can be adopted. What is the problem adopting the girl? When you have a right, Hindu have a right to take a boy only, why not to choose a girl? You just think as a human, what is the harm if you adopt a girl? That is what a Hindu bill says, that any family should not adopt the girl. Here, Baba Sahib was asking that what is the problem? Why girl is not a human? Girl is not a human. Now, you have through his learning, you think about that. 4 years, telling me that I don't want to give divorce to you. Now here, Dr. B.S., he was telling to the woman, you have a divorce right. Even my own wife is not ready to even listen that word about divorce. Then the another fellow who is also a deputy chairman, another speaker, Iyer, he said that the Roman Empire is a collapse because of monogamy. In Roman also, there is a monogamy. That one fellow can have only one marriage. Other than that, you cannot have another wife. But here, Ambedkar also speak against that, he speak against polygamy. And here, that Hindus, the speaker says that, like that Roman Empire collapse, if at all we'll accept Ambedkar constitution, then if my wife pass away because of some illness, then one woman. Now you can see that from every point what Ambedkar raised, diabetic is not being controlled because he's that 4 years when a president of India, everybody, Prime Minister of India, nobody not ready to listen Baba Sahib Ambedkar, but still Baba Sahib fought for 4 years to get past that one. Because through constitution, we are going to have a equality. But through the personal law, we are going to accept the inequality. That is what Baba Sahib said, that is what, for every word, he fought for years together. Just to see that how much commitment that Baba Sahib has for the woman cause. It is not for a Dalit woman. It is a cause for the woman because he is asking Hindus, adopt the girl. What is your problem? Please try to think. Nobody talk about that issue. No feminist, no leftist, no liberalist never talk about this issue. Why Hindu don't want to adopt a girl? Tell me, what is the problem with the monogamy? What is the problem with the polygamy? Is any leftist discussed it? My point is that that is what even while we go to the Shivagami book, there that how Dalit will feel about the polygamy, how Dalit Dalit woman feeling towards the polygamy, very clearly given. That's why my point is that today at least we have some test to speak what is our culture, what we lost, what is we are, and that is what the greatness of the Dalit woman. And starting from the Muktabai Salve and to the Dalit women who are rewriting, who are putting our culture in the words, and we all have to be thankful, and we are all see that the same fighting spirit what Baba Sahib has inspired us, that we can see in the Dalit woman writing. That is what I think.
Thank you, sir. Smita Zen Buddha.
Yeah. Hi, Akash. Thank you, Hari, for very fascinating lecture. I have a question. Since you talked about the colonial period, but my question is directly linked to the contemporary context. How do you see, that there is a demand for the Buddhist personal law, and now the commission is said and the matter is with the Law Commission of India. So, how do you see the Buddhist personal law and the ongoing debates in India in order to understand, the whole context of the personal law? Thank you.
Yeah. See, during that time while Baba Sahib introducing Hindu Code Bill, now the same Hindu, hardcore Hindu people, starting from the Sam Prakash Mukherjee, and again a lot of scholars from that background, and again Hindu Mahasabha, and the woman wing of the even Congress also, even Sarojini Naidu also, they are very fascinated talking about the uniform civil code. And there itself, there is an attempt made during the time of Ambedkar. They were asking Ambedkar, we have no problem introducing Hindu code, that uniform civil code. And then why they are interested about the uniform civil code? Why they are not interested of Hindu code bill? My point is the logic is that they were looking that Ambedkar will accept the Hindu perception to put on
Professor Hari, could you open your video?
The majority people.
Professor Hari,
Could
you open your video?
Yeah. I'm listening. Now, Baba Sahib, that day itself, I am not against the uniform civil code. But the point is that every community has an equal right. Everybody, we are all loving this country. We are all equally should respect each other. It is not there with you. That is a problem. You expect that we should respect you, but you don't want to respect us. That is what the Baba Sahib says, that we cannot build a society as a beautiful garden until unless all the trees have a good flowers. Now, everybody is, because those who are Buddhists, they have every right to live according to their faith, according to whatever their perception they have. That should be respected by the any law, either today or tomorrow also. Everybody, because that day Dalit, we didn't have a test to show the world and what we are all, what is our culture, what is our historical background. Today we have as a Professor Kanchaila say that, and we are going to fill their hatred, and with the volumes, we are going to write and we are going to send you. Today we are not going to simply burn ourselves by talking. We are writing. For every word of you, we are going to write millions of things, and we will show that how we are great. Because In 1923, Baba Sahib Ambedkar already proved in entire ancient continent is a single scholar with 3 PhDs. Even today, you are denying us, but still you are not going to stop us, and we are going to prove we are great scholars. We have a commitment for this land. It is our land. And at the same time, and our society means we respect everybody. We demand respect from everybody also. That is what then only a society can be a beautiful place. That is what everybody should be equal. Equally we should respect. We'll also garner the equal respect also. That is the society. That is not a dominance. Today it is a dominating, and they were dominating because by capturing the media, by capturing the knowledge centers, and they were forcing all others to accept their ideas. They don't want to any debate. As my student Appan was telling, today there is no debate. If at all you see that new education policy 2020 they introduced, they just go and check it. There was no debate on that. You take any bill of today's government, BJP, when Modi coming to the power, there was no debates. That you can check it. That 4 years debate and Hindu code bill, one man is answering for all the questions. All the questions, 4 years, standing and replace. My point is that is what our nationalism, that is what our commitment. That is what I mean to say, that we respect. It is not for one community that Baba Sahib spoke. He spoke for every community, every individual of this country. That is what we say, that in our literature, we are not hate mongers. We are the love givers. That is what we stand. That is why we claim ourselves as the Buddhist, because we love the people. We never hate, even at the cost of our life. Also, we'll end up our life by loving others. That is why we claim that we are followers of the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and followers of the Mahatma Jyotirao Phule, followers of the Gautam Buddha, followers of the Kabir. That is what we love the people. We never hate. Hate is very far away from our life. We suffer because of the hate. We know the cost of the hate, but we never become hate mongers. None of the Dalit writings, we can never see that even single word that we are hate mongers. But we see our opponents, they won of their life, they lost of their life, they never religious, they remain hate mongers. Why? Why not? Buddhists also should have, because this is the land of the Buddha, and this is the land where his ideas should prevail. That is what we all work every day, that the ideas of the Buddha should prevail. Because the ideas of Buddha is that sharing the happiness, sharing the love to the others, and that is what we see, that the same message what Jesus has given here very practically. You can see in Buddha that loving the humanity is the ultimate. Kindness towards others is the ultimate thing, that should turn everybody should be a great kind person. That is what Buddha stands. That is what Ambedkar. That is what all the Dalit writing also speak. That we are to turn every human being as a good, kind human being. Ultimately, that is important. Knowledge is at any time we can get it, but man turning to be a kind human being, that is not an easy task. That's why, and ultimately, that Buddhist values. That is what he is talking. It ultimately speaks the essential truth of how greatness is a kindness. How the kindness can turn this one. That is what you see that Ashoka as did in his lifetime. That is what we are all aspiring. That is what our last tradition should be prevail through even if all Buddhist code comes, we are all going to welcome it. We are all work for it. There is no native thing on that. But when we have other things, why not a Buddhist code, personal code also should come and prevail. No problem at all. Any other, please?
Yeah. Is there anyone who want to ask a question?
Yes.
Very good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
So
Yeah.
this is actually very important session for me, because everyday basis I am getting new things from my guide, Professor Tenepalli Hari sir. And Professor Hari sir, my guide, do you believe that in Muslim community there is also following the Brahminical rules and casteism? Because we have seen that while we studying Eke Biswas, in Eke Biswas journal, I have found that before Islam and before Brahminical rule, we are the Buddhist and we are the Chandal. So you know that in Muslim community, we are also means Dalit. We are Dalit, but those who are forces to convert it to Islam, they are also remain in the same line. They are also means in Islam. They are also means we are also being a Dalit. We are not actually getting access to whatever we are needed for our life. But this is can you believe that in Muslim also the same things is following what means here Brahminical rule is being going on.
Yeah, that is what we can see, in a Bamas also. Bama, as a Catholic woman, a converted Catholic, and again, she also found out that how caste is prevalent in a Catholic church. Now you can see that is what we can see in Islam. That is what we can see in a Christianity also, that the Brahminical ideas are not one day, no, because it was there for centuries. And here, and whatever your community, and this community, the elites of this community became a part of that Brahminical ideology. Even in this hegemony knowledge, the control of the knowledge, and trying to control of the Brahminism, control of the Brahmins over the society has been a challenge. Who try to break that the group of the Brahmins. But nobody made that attempt at all. That's why, and all the religions are being infected. You when you become Muslim, you when you become okay, no problem. That is what that is very much prevail, and as I told you, until unless there is no resistance, and the enemy cannot be controlled, because there is no opponents for enemy. Alternative ideas not have been strongly built. That's why it is a problem. Okay, then as the organizers say that we'll end up here, I have no problem. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for a
Thank
very
you, sir.
wonderful lecture. And we are very glad that you deliver a very fantastic lecture today, and we all academically engage with it, and the argument is very enriching for all of us. Now I request Shashikant Sambodhi to please give vote of thanks.
Thank you. On behalf of KIDK, I warmly thank Professor Dr. Karunyakara sir, a respected Dalit historian and Ambedkar thinker, for kindly chairing today's session. We are also deeply thankful to Professor Tenepalli Hari sir, Department of Political Science, Assam University, Silchar, for his very inspiring and thought-provoking lecture on personal laws and Dalit women. Our sincere thanks to all the participants and attendees of the 29th online lecture in the KIDK lecture series. A special thanks to our coordinators, Dr. Sukeshni, Dr. Darshana, Dr. Smita, Mr. Akash, Mr. Shreyat, Ms. Suhas Kamlakar, and Mr. Vijay for their continuous efforts and support in making this session successful. This lecture series started on Ambedkar Jayanti 2025, continues to spread knowledge and new ideas in the field of Dalit studies. Thank you once again to everyone for your valuable participation. And before we close, please don't forget to subscribe to the Dalit Knowledge YouTube channel, where this recorded session will be uploaded soon. Jai Bhim. The session is